Namah Shivaya.
ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहना भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ
Om
शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Tatsat. Om Namah Shivaya.
Namah
Good morning,
Shivaya.
everybody.
Good morning.
Okay, so we are completed the ninth verse of chapter 10, and we are on the 10th verse, chapter 13, sorry, chapter 13, 10th verse. So let us chant that. Chapter 13, verse number 10. Sri Bhagavanuvacha
श्रीभगवानुवाच
श्रीभगवानुवाच
मयि चान्यन्ययोगेन
मयि
मयि
चान्ययोगेन
चान्ययोगेन
योगेन
तिरव्यभिचारिणी
भक्तिर्व्यभिचारिणी
भक्तिर्व्यभिचारिणी
विविक्तदेशसेवित्वम्
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 हरितर्जनसंसदि
हरतिर्जनसंसदि
हरतिर्जनसंसदि
Okay, so I'm just getting y'all. Look at the words. Mai, in me, cha, ananya yogena. So breakup is there. Cha, ananya yogena. Without any other sadhana. Bhakti hi avyabhicharini. Vicharani means to waver. Avyabhicharini. Vyabhicharini means to waver. Avyabhicharini means not wavering, unswerving. So bhakti avyabhicharini, unswerving devotion. Vivikta desha sevitvam. By going to Vivikta deshaha, a quiet place. Aratir jana samsadihi. Aratihi jana samsadihi. Rati means enjoying or longing for. Aratihi means not longing for. Not longing for jana samsadihi, the company of janam, other people. And here Lord Krishna is emphasizing the importance of bhakti. Right? So we saw in 12th chapter that Karma Yoga should, the very substratum of Karma Yoga is what? Bhakti. We saw that. Upasana Yoga is also in the substratum of Bhakti. Bhakti is the underlying environment in which only Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga must take place. Bhakti is not just rituals, it is the entire, the outlook, the environment in which spiritual activity must take place. And therefore, remember that if Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga need this Bhakti environment, Jnana Yoga is also possible only when the Bhakti environment is there, which is why we say that the Jnani is the greatest Bhakta. And therefore, my Bhakti, so my here is Ishware. In me, Vishwarupa Ishvara Bhakti. And what kind of bhakti? Ananya Yogena. Ananya Yoga means without any other support. So Shankara explains this very nicely. He says Ananya Yogena means na anya bhagavataha vasudevat paraha asti. There is no greater Bhagavan as my support than this Vasudeva. That's Vasudeva. Vasudeva here is Atma. So there is no greater support than this Atma as my support. And Shankara adds, Ataha sa eva nagatihi. Bhagavan is also the ultimate goal to be known. So Mai Bhakti, when Krishna says, he means two things. When you take Shankara's explanation also, there are two outlooks, two perspectives. One is he is the ultimate support for the karma yogi. So anya bhagavataha vasudeva para asti. There is no other support for me other than Saguna Brahma. And that is the viewpoint of a karma yogi. And Shankara says it should also be taken as atasa eva nagatihi, is the ultimate destination to be known, is the ultimate goal to be understood. And therefore, that is also the ultimate goal for the Jnana Yogi. There are two perspectives of that one word, Maiti. One is for the Karma Yogi, it is Saguneshwara. For Saguneshwara is support for Karma Yogi. For the Jnana Yogi, it is to be known as himself. The ultimate goal to be known as himself. The idea conveyed is that for the Karma Yogi and the Jnana Yogi, Bhagavan is central in his life. For one as the support, for the other one as himself. Then we look at the word avyabhicharini. Na vyabhicharana. No, na vyabhicharini means na vyabhicharana. You do not have any other objectives. You don't swerve. You are completely one-pointed. Vyabhicharana is deviation. Na avyabhicharana. Avyabhicharana is non-deviation. Not flinching from the focus of the thought on Ishvara. And Shankara adds a comment here saying that this kind of a unflinching bhakti, unswerving bhakti, one-pointed bhakti, this kind of a one-pointed bhakti is as good as jnana. Because with this kind of a bhakti, which is a jnana sadhanam, the discipline leading to jnanam is certain. You will definitely come to SM, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, and you will definitely come to jnana. Therefore, with this unswerving, one-pointed bhakti, Jnanam is as good as assured. So he says this bhakti, avyabhicharani bhakti, is as good as jnana. Then the next word is vivikta desha sevitvam. So look at the words viviktaha, secluded, lonely. And Shankara adds, if such a natural place, secluded place is available to you, use that. For example, you have, let us say, a river bank close by or a forest close by where not dangerous to you, you can go there, it's fine. But if such a place is not there, then he says you set up one. So if, like for most of us, we wouldn't be having a river bank close by or even, a park very close by. So you create one. If there's a room on your terrace, you set it up. Or if there is a puja room, you convert that puja room into your meditation room and so on, right? And Shankara adds that they should be free from obstacles like dirt and filth, etc. And of course, he adds very, pointedly, Sarapa Vyaghra Adivihi. It should not have snakes and tigers also. No. We need not look at that because, you don't find snakes and tigers in cities. So your idea is that you should be in a place where there is very clean and free from disturbances. And Shankara gives examples. Aranyaha, like a forest, or Nadi Pulinaha, like the Pulinaha, the banks of a Nadi, of a river, or a Deva Grahadibihi, a temple also. Right? This is the definition of Vivikta Deshaha. But of course, in temples, unless you are lucky enough to be having a temple close by where nobody really goes, solitude is not there. Right? And then Shankara says you should make it a habit to go there regularly. Tam sevitam shelamasya. You must go there regularly. It's not enough to go once in a way. So to extract from this, to in a practical manner, we should have a clean place, a safe place, and a spiritually elevating place, inspiring place, for which if you have a own puja room in your house, that is fine. But if you don't have a puja room, at least have a puja corner. A corner in the room can be converted to puja room. And in that corner or in that puja room, you must be alone. Right? That's why he says Vivikta Deshaha. You must be alone. Should be lonely place. Why should it be lonely? Because only when you don't have disturbances, if you don't have a TV in front of you, don't have relatives in front of you, have nobody in front of you. That is why early morning is important because most of the people are sleeping. And if you have got up, you are in a lonely place. What are you trying to do? That is a place where you can confront your own mind, right? Because problems will surface only when your mind has nothing to, uh, hold on to. So in the morning, in the meditation seat, you don't have much to hold on to because nobody has really got up. People are not. The house is quiet. There's no sound outside. You have put off the light. Your dull light is there, and therefore you are facing your own mind. And when you're facing inwards, your own mind, and you're not having the mind hold on to anything outside, then whatever problems are there in your mind, they will surface. So this fundamental problem of your mind, which we call samsara, we come to know only when we are completely alone. That is the whole idea being conveyed. And if you look at your daily life, you have TV, you have all sort of diversions. So the society today is a very materialistic one, which tries to split your attention span by providing maximum number of diversions. What is the advantage of that? The more you focus on these diversions, the less you focus on your mind. And the less you focus on your mind, the less you try to understand your mind, the less you try to diagnose the problem of the mind. And if you don't understand the problem of the mind, there is no question of working for a solution. Therefore, the solitude, the silence has two functions. One is that I am able to face my mind, know more about myself and my problems. Another one is that solitude is an expression of samsara. Why? Because when you face your mind, you have things like anxiety, insecurity, fear. And the most common expression of samsara is what?
Loneliness.
Loneliness. And remember that loneliness can jump on you at any point in your time, in your life. When you're young and when you're busy with your work and you have children and and a lot of friends, loneliness is maybe there in the background, but you don't really feel it. Or it comes at some little point of time, and then you promptly jump into something and get an activity, right? That activity doesn't take away the loneliness, but it takes your mind away from the fact that the loneliness is there in the background. And as you age, your children grow up and go away. They get married and go off. Some friends would no longer be around, and your job is no longer there. So constant activity is no longer there, and therefore you should train your mind to handle this loneliness. You should train it when the loneliness is not there. In your youth, when loneliness is not there, that is the time to train your mind to address the loneliness, to be comfortable with being lonely. You can't wait for old age when everybody is gone and then suddenly you become lonely and then try to handle it. It's not a very successful activity. Like it's like digging a well when your house catches fire. Therefore, right now is the time to learn to enjoy solitude. How do you do that? Small, small things. Sit for meditation, or if you don't want to do that, just sit outside in the balcony early morning. Don't do anything. Don't bring a book. Don't bring a mobile phone. Just sit. Learn to enjoy solitude. Take a walk. It's good for you anyway. Take a walk. Go for a long walk on your own. Don't take your Walkman along. Don't take your phone along. Even if you take the phone, put it in the pocket. Don't use it. You have to learn to enjoy solitude. And once you have tackled the problem of solitude, once you have tackled the problem of being lonely, you will find that it is easy to be alone. There is a difference being alone and being lonely. You can be alone when your mind is not disturbed because there is nobody else. You are lonely when your mind is disturbed because there is nobody else. That is the only difference. Alone means I am not disturbed. There is no one I'm not disturbed. Lonely means there is no one I am disturbed. So train yourself to grow old very gracefully. When today itself, from today onwards, learn to enjoy solitude. And this solitude we can use fruitfully for Nididhyasana. Right? So Shankara adds here that it is only when your mind quietens down. It is only when the FIR drops that you can learn to focus on the Atma. Right? Therefore, we should remember those verses. What is that? Kate kanta kaste putraha samsaro yamativa vichitraha kasya tvam kahakuta ayataha tatvam chintaya tadiha bhrataha kastvam koham kuta ayataha kame janani ko me tataha iti paribhavaya sarvam samsaram vishwam vyakta swapna vicharam. Where is it from?
Govindam.
Govinda.
I hope all of you remember these very beautiful verses. All
And
saying that
worth remembering.
Vairagyam will come and lead you to Shravana, to Jnana. Okay. Then the next next word is Aratir Jana Samsadehi. So Rati means to enjoy. Enjoy what? Company of people. Arati means not enjoying. Now, Jana Samsadehi means company of people. So Aratehi Jana Samsadehi. Learn not to enjoy the company of people. Why does he say that?
Then the problem of solitude is easily resolved.
When you are in the company of other people,
Mm.
there is no time to focus on your own mind. It gives you no time for sadhana. Right? Now, remember that this does not mean that you should have no company at all. You should remember Sat Sangatve Nissangatvam Nissangatve Niramohatvam Niramohatve Nischalatatvam Nischalatatve Jivan Mukti. Again, where from? Bhagavad So, Shankaracharya says in his commentary that if it is the association with Satpurusha, then this restriction of Arati doesn't apply. If you're on a satsang with people who are also on the same path, satsang doesn't necessarily mean somebody is talking and you're listening. Satsang can be just association with a lot of people on the same spiritual line, even if they are your friends. Because what people who are focused on the spiritual line, we rarely ever talk about non-spiritual things. And therefore, all that is conducive to jnanam. That is why he says satsangatve nischalatat. Finally. Okay. All right. Now we look at the verse number 11, which we will chant. Please unmute yourselves. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam
Adhyatmajnananityam
Tattva darshanam
Jnanarthadarshanam
etajnanamiti proktam
Etajnanam
Etajnanam
pritipram
jnanam yadatonyathā.
Ajnanam
Yatatonya.
So we are continuing with what is the subject incidentally? What we are doing right now?
Jnanam, the process how to
Jnanam, which in this case, jnanam means what?
Virtues.
Virtues, right? We are doing the sadgunas, which Shankara said as good as jnana. Krishna also said as good as jnana. So the next one is adhyatma jnana nityatvam. Nityatvam, systematic study of adhyatma jnana, which is Vedantic scriptures, nityatvam, for a length of time under the guidance of a competent teacher. Right? So a very specific idea is being conveyed. It has to be a systematic study It has to be for sufficient amount of time. It has to be under the guidance of a teacher who understands what he's saying, who speaks only in accordance with the scriptures. And lot of people today, many of your friends you may know, they go for discourses, right? Random discourses. One discourse where somebody talks about karma yoga, another discourse somebody talks about atma. There is no connection between the two discourses. It may not even be the same acharya, but it is a fashion that I'm going for a spiritual discourse. So going for random discourses can be compared to having a land where there is a truckload of bricks. The bricks are what? The bricks are meant for making the house. But until the bricks are systematically arranged, floor, walls, roof, etc., they are of no use to you. Similarly, karma yoga, upasana yoga, jnana yoga, all important. But unless the study is systematic, they will not give you any benefit at all. Therefore, Jnana Yoga means what? Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. Shravanam means what? You are listening. If you are listening means what? Somebody is speaking. Therefore, a teacher is necessary. And this teacher should be an Acharya who is not telling you his personal views. He's dealing only with the Shastra Vakyam. He will tell you what Shastram says, which is what his teacher has told him. So there is a parampara. And what is the summary of such teaching? To put it in our words, we start with the knowledge of the triangular format. What are the three corners of a triangular format?
Jagat, Jiva Jagat Ishvara.
Jiva Jagat Ishvara. You can always say Jivatma,
Ana-
Paramatma, Anatma.
Okay,
Okay.
Jivatma Paramatma.
Jiva Jagat Ishvara is the same as Jivatma, Paramatma, Anatma. Now, when you start studying these scriptures, what do the scriptures tell you finally? There is a aikyam between Jivatma and Paramatma, right? Why? Because Jivatma is Chaitanyam, consciousness principle, enclosed in a medium or reflected in a medium. This Jivatma is consciousness principle reflected in the body mind complex. Paramatma is the unenclosed consciousness principle. So Jivatma is the consciousness principle with a boundary. Paramatma is the unbounded consciousness principle. And when you look at the study, when you study it properly, you will realize that the enclosure, the body mind complex, is only it was only mithya. And therefore, you drop the body mind complex from your understanding. What remains is not Jivatma or Paramatma.
Atma.
What remains is Atma alone, the unenclosed Chaitanya. And therefore, this Jivatma Paramatma on analysis, they collapse into Ekatma. What remains? Ekatma, Anatma. This is what is the binary format. In the triangular format, you have Jivatma, Paramatma, Anatma. On Vedantic study, Jivatma and Paramatma collapse into Eka Atma or Atma only, and therefore you are left with Atma and Anatma. That is not the end of it. What is the next part of the study? So from triangular format, you have come to binary format. Right? Now, what is the next step?
You
You're
need
all very senior students now.
Advaitam, no other.
No, you can't just say one word and keep quiet. You know, tell me how that resolution takes place.
Okay, that we will listen.
How does the resolution take place?
There is
Anybody?
no Anatma. There is no Anatma.
So the resolution takes place by knowing that Atma is Satyam and Anatma is the product of Atma, Atma Karyam. Right? And if Atma Karyam is there, then Atma is Karanam. So if Anatma is Atma Karyam, product of Atma, then the Karanam is Atma. The cause is Atma. And therefore, essentially, there is no anatma separate from the atma. You can at the most say anatma is mithya because it is dependent upon me. Like the ring or the bangle is dependent upon the gold. But the ring or the bangle can never trouble the gold because it is dependent upon the gold. Therefore, this anatma prapancha and my body-mind complex, which is also karyam, atma karyam, can never trouble me, the satyam. Right? And this is the knowledge meant by adhyatma jnana. You have come to triangular format. You have resolved it into binary format. In the binary format, you say that there is no anatma separate from me. It's a dependent entity. It is mithya. And therefore, I can never be troubled by that anatma. And this is the adhyatma jnanam. And he says nityam. Nityam means Shravanam should, Shravanam can be once or twice in a week, right? Or when you're driving or whatever. But Mananam and Nididhyasanam should be as frequently as possible. You cannot hope to advance spiritually very quickly unless Mananam and Nididhyasanam are regular in your life. So when you get up in the morning, first thing is you chant. Mano Buddhi Hankara Chitta Ninaham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Whenever you're alone, all of us have this habit of singing in the toilet, right? At least I had. I
Uh-huh.
don't know how many of you have. So instead of singing filmy songs, we can sing this, no? Mano Buddhi Hankara Chitta Ninaham. Of course, your partners might think you're mad, but that's a different matter. Okay. And as many times as possible during the day, keep reminding yourself. Pita naiva me naiva mata na janma na bandhurna mitram guru naiva vishishyaha chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. All this is from a text called what?
Nirvana Shatakam.
Nirvana Shatakam. Right. So this little thing is a very good Nitidhyasam text. You must read it again and again. And again, before going to bed, mano buddhi hankara jittani naham. So you have to keep on reminding yourself because let the mind always be occupied by these thoughts. Remember that the mind always has thoughts. And therefore, choose the thoughts which will remain in your mind. Otherwise, you'll be thoughts. If you don't choose the thoughts, then you will find that your mind is occupied by a lot of anatma thoughts which are troubling to you. And therefore, don't do that. As far as possible, wherever you find that your mind is, not occupied with external things, you're not doing something which requires the mind, then you a couple of these things you memorize, couple of these texts you memorize, keep reminding yourself about that. That is called Nityam Adhyatma Jnana. Constantly reminding yourself about this jnanam which you have learnt. Then the next one is Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam. So Shankara defines what does it mean, Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam. He says constantly reminding yourself about amanitvam adina jnana sadhanana. Constantly reminding yourself about what was studied earlier, amanitvam, etc., which are the sadhana for jnana. And he says you mentally keep pursuing them until they begin to ripen. It means until they begin to give results of chitta shuddhi. Okay. So the ripening of these virtues, the chitta shuddhi which arises from these virtues, they are important. Shravanam is also important. Now, you might say, what does this ripening mean? Remember that you are currently in Shravanam, Maranam, Jnanam stage, Nididhyasanam stage. Then why should you talk about or think about your Amanitvam, etc.? Remember that even after Shravanam, what does Shravanam give you?
Knowledge.
Okay, so let me talk about three obstacles. I think we have talked about this in the past also.
Yes.
But there are three obstacles to your moksha, even after doing Shravana. So, and they are, number one is Pramana Asambhavana. Number two is Prameya Asambhavana. Number three is Viparita Bhavana. What
So,
is Pramana Asambhavana?
lack of proof, pramar, asambhavana.
Don't go by that. Do you know or not? We have
Sorry?
talked about it. Do you know specifically? Don't go by the words. Don't try to interpret the words. Pramana Asambhavana is a technical word in the Shastram which has a particular meaning. And we have talked about it in the past. Who remembers? Okay, Pramanam here means what?
Shastra.
Shastra.
Asambhavana means what?
Impossibility.
Impossibility. So Pramana Asambhavana is a interpretational doubt in English. Which is what? What does the Pramanam say? I am not sure. What is the Tatparyam of Shastram? I am not sure. Right? And if Pramana Asambhavana is there, if I am not sure what Shastram says, what is the remedy for that?
Have to study it.
Which is, what is the technical word?
Guru. Appropriate Guru Upadesha.
Which is what?
Shraddha.
Shravanam.
Kavanam.
Shraddha.
Right. So Shravanam is the solution for Pramana Sambhavana. If I don't know what the Shastram says, or if I'm not sure what Shastram says, I have to keep on doing Shravanam. I have to keep on listening to the Guru until such time as that doubt goes away. What does Shastram say? And having said that, what does Shastram say essentially? What is Tatparyam of Shastram?
Aham Brahmasmi.
Shastram doesn't say Aham Brahmasmi.
Tattvamasi.
Tattamasi.
Shastram says Tattvamasi. Okay, remember that. Don't say Aham Brahmasmi. Shastram doesn't say that. Shastram says you are
That is
Brahman.
after Nididhasanam.
Tattvam Asi means you are Brahman. That is the Tatparyam of Shastram. Once you have clearly grasped that Shastram says Tattvam Asi, what has happened? Pramana Asambhavana has gone away. There are no more interpretational doubts. Okay, is that clear? The remedy for Pramana Asambhavana is only Shravanam, 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 Shravanam. Until such time, as you are very clear that the message is Tattvamasi. You are Atma. Then comes the next one. Once Pramana Asambhavana is there, then there can be a Prameya Asambhavana. Prameya Asambhavana is the doubt. I am very clear that Shastram says Tattvamasi, but how can I be Brahman? How can it be possible that I am Brahman? That is Prameya Asambhavana. It's a logical doubt, right? Because why is the logical doubt there? Because what Shastra says is I am Atma, I am Brahman. Brahman is Sarvagataha, all pervading. Brahman is eternal. Brahman has no problems in life. But none of that applies to me. I am finite. I don't even pervade the whole room. I am full of sorrow and unhappiness. How can I be that Brahman? Do you see the difference between Pramana Sambhavana and Pramaya Sambhavana?
First one is lack of knowledge. The second is lack of surety.
First one is a very big doubt as to what the Shastra is saying. Does it say that you are Jivatma? Does it say you are Paramatma? Does it say you are useless fellow? Does it say you are infinite? Does it say you are finite? That is the Pramana Sambhavana. When Pramana Sambhavana is eliminated, you are very clear about only one thing. Shastram says Tattvamasi. You have no doubts about that. And then comes the next doubt. Shastram says Tattvamasi, I understand that. But how can I be that Brahman? Because I have got so many limitations in my life. That is Pramaya Sambhava. That is a logical doubt based on your own experiences, on your interactions with life. Okay, what is the solution to this logical doubt?
Mananam.
Manana. You keep on thinking about it. You talk to your teacher, you talk to your fellow students. And Manana process is very important because you have to actually raise the doubt which your mind brings about and then try to logically resolve that doubt, right? And that's a longer process. Shravanam is okay. It tells you very clearly that you're Tattvamasi. But it takes a bit longer and the time will vary from person to person. If you have a complete faith in your teacher and the Shastra, it's much less troublesome. But many of us are, have a lot of very clear mind, a lot of doubt come. If you have no doubts, no issues. If you have doubts, then Maranam is important. And once all the logical doubts have been cleared out, then what is there? See, you have a clear knowledge of the fact that Shastram says that you are Brahman. And you have a clear knowledge of the fact I am Brahman. When Aham Brahmasmi is accepted by your intellect without any doubts, then Pramaya Asambhavana is gone. Pramana Asambhavana is there, is gone when you accept that Shastram says that you are Tattvamasi. It's an intellectual acceptance always. When you intellectually accept that the essential teaching of Shastram is Tattvamasi, then Pramana Asambhavana is gone. When you accept that Aham Brahmasmi, then Prameya Asambhavana is gone. Your thinking is aligned with what Shastram says. When that happens, Pramana Asambhavana is eliminated and Pramaya Asambhavana is eliminated. Then what happens? Viparita Bhavana is there. I understood that I am Brahman. But I still don't get the benefit of Jnana. I still have sorrow. I still have the doubt that I'll be reborn or not. You see the difference?
Yes.
Your intellect accepts that Shastram says Tattvamasi. Your intellect accepts Aham Brahmasmi. But the prayojanam is not there. You are a sorrowful jnani. So the message of Shastram is extremely clear. But your vasana, your habitual thinking pattern that I am a jiva, that has not gone. So when you wake up in the morning, the first thing that happens is, what is my problem? I have a problem. I am a jiva, problem is there. That is Viparita Bhavana. Viparita Bhavana is caused by habitual thinking patterns. You used to think that you are a jiva. Shastram told you that you are Atma. You intellectually accept that you are Atma. But that Jiva Bhava has not come. The Jiva Bhava is very, very much there. And because it is there, you are not able to get the benefit of Jnana. Right? And therefore, when you keep on doing Shravanam and Mananam, there is an increasing clarity of vision. That is called Tattva Jnana. And what is the benefit of Tattva Jnanam? Moksha. Moksha means what? Samsara has gone away. So you will then be in the binary format. Remember, occasionally, because of some external problems, you may relapse into triangular format. You may have some problems. But you will quickly be able to, view that, oh, I am getting back into triangular format. And therefore, you will again change your gear back into binary format. And therefore, Shankara says you must always remember this benefit of the Tattva. Because only if you remember the benefits will you have the motivation to spiritual practice. And therefore, Krishna is saying here, constantly remind yourself that this Tattva, what is Tattva? I and Brahman are the same. Aham Brahmasmi. That Brahmasmi is what gives you moksha. And therefore, now here Shankara comments, therefore, therefore, all these virtues which started with Amanitvam Adi in verse number 7 and are now ending where with Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam. All these virtues, these 20 virtues, they are called Jnanam iti proktam. They are called Jnanam simply because being properly established in these virtues, if one assimilates these 20 virtues properly, one will helplessly come to Jnana. And therefore, they are also called Jnana. And Yadato Anyatha, whatever is other, Yata Ataha, whatever has been discussed above, which is the 20 virtues discussed above, Anyatha, other than these 20 virtues, whatever else is there, that is called Ajnana. So that is the last word, Yadato Anyataha, which means Yat Ataha, whatever has been discussed above. All the 20 virtues which we have discussed from verse number 7 to verse number 11, Anyatha, anything other than these 20 virtues, Ajnana is Ajnana only. And here Krishna leaves it at that, right? You can decide what are the opposite virtues. But Shankara doesn't want to leave it to leave it to us to decide. So he adds in his commentary, what are the other virtues? Take each of these virtues and reverse it. So how will you do that? Amanitvam. What is important? What is opposite of that?
Manitvam.
Anitvam. Adambhitvam. Opposite is Dhitvam. Ahimsa. Opposite is hinsa. And so on. Each of these you take, akshantihi, anarjavam, all these you take, all these 20 virtues you take, and the opposites of these 20 virtues, they are called ajnana. And Shankara in his commentary adds that you must not only study the 20 virtues. Krishna doesn't say this, but Shankara says, note that you must very carefully study these opposites also. It's not enough to study the 20 virtues. You have to study the opposites also. Why is that so? Because all these are instinctive, instinctive traits, vasana based traits. They arise because of the vasana, the habitual thinking patterns. And because the basis, the very cause of these opposites are vasana, remember, they are habitual thinking pattern based, and therefore they can surface at any point in your life. What is the only solution? You must be alert all the time. Your mind should be alert. Mind should be, clear and spot. You should have the alertness to recognize the first negative thought even as it arises. Remember that these negative thoughts, they can be controlled only when they are spotted as and when they arise. If you give it time and the mind nourishes that, then they become too powerful for us to control. Therefore, spot the first negative thought. The moment that thought comes into view, the moment you perceive that my mind is thinking something negatively, you should remember this word, ajnanam yato anyatha. This is ajnanam only. But remember that each one of these negative thoughts, they can give rise to a full blown samsara. They're capable of becoming complete, full-blown samsara and turning you into a samsari. And therefore, if you don't keep doing that, you will be a jnani, but you will be a samsari jnani. And therefore, constantly, you should be using your viveka shakti. And this is what Shankara says. Pranayamam pratyaharam nitya nitya viveka vicharam. Japya sameta samadhi vidhanam kurvavadhanam ahadavadhanam. Again, that brilliant work, Bhajagovinda. Therefore, kurvavadhanam, be always alert. Mahat avadhanam, be very specifically, greatly alert. Always. Why? Because these thoughts can emerge at any point of time. Even when you have got jnanam, even when you are meditating, these thoughts can come and disturb you completely, drag you back into samsara. Okay.
Sir, Om, sir.
Yeah.
So once before you had talked about these obstacles, some three thoughts that are obstacles on the path of Vidya. They are covering the Samshay, Grahan Pratyaya, and no,
Yeah.
Agrahan Pratyaya and Samshaya Grahan Pratyaya. Are these the ones are related with these ones that you're talking about?
There are different words to mention anything, which any disturbing thought talking about. Any thought which is not under your control, which takes your mind away from sadhana, that is covered here. So that's why Purvavadhanam, always be alert.
Yes.
Alertness is one of the greatest virtues for a sadhaka. Okay. So now verse number 13 we'll look at. Last verse for today. No, not 13, sorry. 12. ज्ञेयं यद्यत् प्रवक्ष्यामि
ज्ञेयं यत् प्रवक्ष्यामि
यज्ञात्वामृतमश्नुते
यज्ञात्वामृतमश्नुते
अनादिमत्परं ब्रह्म
अनादिमत्परं ब्रह्म
न सत्तन्नासदुच्यते
न सत्तन्नासदुच्यते
So Vakshyami, I will teach you Tat Yat Jneyam. Tat Yat Jneyam. So you have to break up Yat Tat Vakshyami into Tat Yat Pravakshyami and put Jneyam in the middle. So Tat Yat Jneyam Pravakshyami. Tat Yat Jneyam means that which is to be known. Pravakshyami, I shall teach you. What is the advantage? Gyatva. Upon understanding that, Ashnute Amritam, you will obtain Amritam, immortality. And what is that Amritam? Tat Param Brahma, that supreme Brahman, Anadimat, which is beginningless. And not only that, Nasat, you have to bring that last word carefully. Nasat, Na, Asat, Uchyati. That supreme Brahman, Tat Param Brahma, Anadimat, beginningless. So Tat, Anadimat Param Brahma, that beginningless Supreme Brahman. Nasat Nasat Uchyate. So here Sat and Asat have a specific meaning. Sat is Karanam, Asat is Karyam. So that Brahman, which is supreme and beginningless, which is neither a Karanam nor a Karyam, which is neither the cause nor the effect. Right? Now the next, up to 19, next 7 verses, they discuss Jneyam. Jneyam means that which is to be known, which is Brahman. Shankara adds for clarity, Jneyam means Gyatavyam, that Brahman which should be known. And Shankara says that Vakshyami means Prakarshena Vakshyami. Why? Because Vakshyami can be taken as, I will tell you. Why? Vakshyami, Prakarshena Vakshyami. I will very clearly tell you. Right? And Krishna says that this Brahman, everybody should know. Why? Yat Jneyam Gyatva, having understood that Brahman, Amritam Ashnute, one will gain immortality. And Amritam means what? Na punaha mriyate. There will be no more death for it. The fear of mortality is gone. And that is our greatest fear. We are all afraid of death because we think that we will die when actually it is the body which dies. Once you know that you are immortal Brahman, you will no longer be afraid of death of the body. And therefore, yet Jneyam Gyatva, that Brahman has to be known. And what kind of Brahman? Anadimat. Anadimat means, Adimat means the one which has got a beginning. Anadimat means the one which doesn't have a beginning. So that Brahman which has no beginning. And remember that Adi has two meanings. Anybody remembers? What are two meanings? One, of course, is beginning. In fact, it has three meanings, not
No
two.
end. It has no end.
No.
etc.
Sorry, etc. is one more meaning. And there's one more meaning. So Adi has three meanings. One is beginning, one is etc., and one is,
The first,
sorry,
the first,
no. One is Karanam. Yeah, that you can take it from, you can take it as the first because Karanam. So three meanings. The first are Karanam, beginningless, etc. Etc. is not relevant here. So we take two meanings, beginning and Karanam. So what is saying? Brahman is beginningless. And Anadimat. Brahman has no beginning. And Anadimat. Brahman is without a Karanam. You see? It can be seen in both ways. Anadi means that which has no beginning and that which has no Karanam also. So Brahman is beginningless and Brahman is without a Karanam. Beginningless means in terms of both Desha and Kala. In space-wise beginningless, therefore infinite. Time-wise beginningless, not restricted by time, therefore eternal. Tat Param Brahma, that entity is called Param Brahma. Na Sat, na Asat Uchyate. Okay, now there are two meanings here also. Shankara takes Sat as that which exists and Asat as that which does not exist. Right? So Shankara says Sat is the existing Jagat and Asat is the potential Jagat, the past Jagat which potentially exists and the future Jagat which is also potentially exists. But right now doesn't exist. You get the meaning? Sat is present Jagat, existing Jagat. Asat is potential but not existing Jagat. And therefore Brahman is na Sat, na Asat. Do you get the idea? Hopefully not confusing.
So does Sat has another meaning? I mean, sometimes, some other time we use Sat.
You have lots of meanings. We are
Okay.
going by what Shankara is saying. Shankara is
So,
saying Sat is existing. Asat means not existing. Potentially existing, but not existing.
so in
And
this
therefore,
context only,
when you say Brahman is na Sat na Asat, what does it mean?
So here when he says it is neither Sat nor Asat, he's referring to the transactional reality, the Jagat.
He's saying it is not Sat and it is not Asat. It is saying it is not there and it is not there. It's a very subtle thing.
Raviji, what is not there?
Means not existing.
Okay.
So it is existing and not existing. What is there, which is, when you say something is existing and not existing, who is saying that?
Self,
Us.
the mind.
No,
Someone who's been there across all the time frames.
the observer only. And therefore, by saying that Brahman is not Sat, not Asat, Shankara is saying Brahman is you.
Self.
You are there. You are the only one who knows that the world is there today. And you are the only one who knows that world is not there tomorrow. So world is there, world is not there. And Brahman is not that. Therefore, Brahman is the one who says that world is there, world is not there. Which means Brahman is I, Atma only. Therefore, Nasat, na asat uchyate means those words are revealing Brahman as yourself alone. I hope it's clear. It's a very nice little discussion. Any doubts?
Karaji?
Yeah.
Raviji?
So here, Sat is not referring to the existent principle, right?
No. Sat refers to the existing world. Asat refers to non-existing world. So when you take them together, Shankara is saying that you are that observer consciousness, which is a witness of the existing world and the non-existing world.
Yes.
Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now Anandagiri has another interpretation. He is a very simple interpretation. He takes Sat as Karanam and Asat as Karyam. So he says Nasat na Asat Uchyate simply means Brahman is not Karanam, Brahman is not Karyam. So meaning is very simple. Karya Karana Vilakshana Brahman. That Brahman is neither the product nor the cause. Anandagiri's interpretation is simpler, but Shankara is brilliant. By saying that you are the witness principle who is able to witness the existing world and has also witnessed the past world, which is now non-existing, and will also witness the future world, which is now non-existing. He is saying that you are that Brahman alone. Okay, I will leave you to chew on this. Okay, so please go through this very carefully. The second definition, or the first definition of Shankaracharya is much more Vedantic. Not that Anandagiri is not, but this reveals these words as a revealer of yourself, of Brahman. Therefore, I will leave it to this. We will continue in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat, Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your patience. Om.
Thank you.